You know what they say, when mama's down, the house stops. Well, I was down, y'all. I was down, and you could still hear it in my voice that I am not fully recovered, but I was down. And my house, it was still running, slowly, but it was running nonetheless. So I want to share with you how my household survived me being sick for a week and how yours can do the same. And if you're here, that means you're interested in knowing how to do this too. So let's start. Look, I've been sick for a whole week. Am I off my routine? Yeah, that's an understatement. I'm so far off my routine, it's kind of scary. But I'm so happy to have an anchor to help me get back on track quickly and seamlessly. Now, I'm not saying that you need a guide, but it's super helpful to have a map to get you back on the right path without having to use so much brain power. And that is what the Anchor Homemaker Guide is. It is a map to help you get back on track without you having to think of all the steps you need to take. It really lays it out for you. In it, you're going to find some scripture-based encouragement, some devotionals, a to-do list, and a step-by-step guide to help you get back on track, but get back on your routine without consuming your entire day. Best of all, this is my gift to you. So go ahead and grab your copy using the link in the description and your best email, and I'm going to send it straight to your inbox. Look, I was on a roll with my routines, okay? I was on a roll. I think I said this in every video. I was doing really well, and then something gets me off track. It's life. It's what happens. My house was getting put back into shape. Meals were being prepped. Routines were being tightened. I was getting into a really good mental space to be able to do YouTube consistently without my household suffering. And then it happened. Sickness. Not me, my middle child. Yeah, she developed 103 fever, and that is such a scary place to be in because, that is seizure zone. And I'm not one to run to the hospitals, but it's been a while since we all got sick, and I was kind of like, what's happening? Her fever isn't going down at all, and my baby was suffering. And so I took her to the emergency clinic, and turns out she had the yuck. Yep, the yuck. So of course, while I was full speed ahead with my household tasks, making sure everything was lined up, I had to slow down. I slowed down to take care of my baby, to make sure she felt comforted and loved, gave her all the snuggles and kisses. And for that weekend, things kind of halted a little bit. While she was resting, I would get my housework done, making sure that my other two kids were taken care of and food was cooked and things of that sort. But when she was up, I was tending to her needs, making sure that she felt comfortable, making sure that she had her liquids, her fluids, mom things that we do in our households when our babies are sick, okay, and they need us. That's what I was doing. I don't like it when my kids are sick, and I know you don't either, but you know what? Sickness happens. It happens, and we have to be prepared for it, and I was not. But I made it work. Went into nurse mommy mode, prayed over my daughter, gave her what she needed during that time. And then you know what happened? My husband gets sick, and then my son gets sick, and then the baby gets sick. I know. It was so overwhelming. It was so crazy to have 3 people. My daughter was recovering by this time over the weekend. She was doing great. But then the other 3 got sick, and I'm just like, oh. It was a lot. It was a lot. But I had to ask God for strength to take care of my family that I love so dearly. Because while they were fighting the virus, I was fighting with them. I constantly joked to my husband, like he and my toddler were the worst patients. I couldn't get them to eat anything. If a grown man don't want to eat, he ain't eating. If a toddler don't want to eat, they ain't eating. You know how it is. You know how it is. It's hard. So that was my challenge. But then it happened. It was my turn. I got the yuck. And it took me out. But listen, praise the Lord, I don't get sick often, but when I do, I do. It's everything I do is go big or go home, right? So yeah, 2 weeks of my household being sick was not fun. It wasn't fun for me, it wasn't fun for them, but we managed and we survived. And I want to share with you what I did beforehand that helped all this along. So if you're off routine, I pray these suggestions help. I pray that you implement these suggestions and that your household can run smoother, or as smooth as possible while you're either sick, down, busy, out of town, whatever the case may be. During your absence, your household still needs to function. So before my household got sick, I was already in the process of prepping freezer meals. I made like 50 pancakes. I made 48 biscuits. I was about to work on some breakfast wraps, and I had made some chicken stock because I was prepping for us to head into a busy season. My parents just moved up here and we're about to start a family business, and so it's just gonna go crazy. But I did not know I was prepping for it. Everybody being sick. that just happened. So my goal was to prep enough breakfasts for all of June, so I wouldn't have to worry about scrambling, making sure my kids were fed. I wanted to do all the breakfasts, and I wanted to do some of the lunch items as well, because dinner would have been in the crock pot meals. But listen, having frozen pancakes in the freezer when I did allowed my son to eat while I was taking care of her, and allowed them both to eat as I was taking care of the rest of the family. I also had some chicken soup base that I had canned a year ago, so my son was able to eat that, and my daughter, while they were sick, and that actually helped them get better, because chicken broth is really, really nutritious, and they had carrots and celery and onions, things of that sort. So there was food in the pantry for them that I cooked a while ago. That was a huge help as well. I mean, I did purchase some soups, but for the most part, we had homemade soup that was ready to go. And that was a huge help, because I didn't really have to put too much effort into cooking anything. I just had to make sure that I added a little bit of flour to thicken up the broth and added the noodles. And I had that in the freezer, so that soup was taken care of. So yeah, I try my best to have as much homemade stuff as I can, but having some store-bought options is a really good thing to have on hand as well, because you never know when you're gonna need it as you're building up your homemade pantry items. So the lesson here is to prep your freezer, prep your pantry before your busy season or before sickness hits, because we don't plan sickness, it just happens, right? So whatever you can do today, do it today, and you'll have it for when you need it. So consider foods like pancakes, breakfast sandwiches, breakfast wraps, things like that freeze well, and you can pull when you need it. If you haven't met already, I'm Celeste from the blog, theroarmama.com, and I'm here to help you go from feeling like you failed at homemaking to feeling confident as you learn new skill sets while applying the Word of God to everyday tasks. Around here, we really focus on roaring loud, loving well, and serving big. So if that feels like your type of home, then you're in the right place. And if this video has been a blessing to you already, go ahead and give that like button a little scratch. It helps me to serve you better. And I can be very particular about how I want things done, where things are supposed to go, but I was down, down. And that really wasn't the time to nitpick about anything. I needed to be as hands-off as I can. When I started to feel bad, like the body aches without the fever, I can feel my body getting sick. My husband demanded that I stay my butt in bed. He told me, I don't want to see you cleaning the house. I don't want to see you cooking meals. I don't want to see you taking care of kids. I don't want to see you in this bed. Because he knows that I act like Superwoman when I really need to be resting. And you know what? I agreed. I listened to my husband. The first 2 days that I was sick, I did absolutely nothing. I did the bare minimum that I could get away with. I was in bed all day. My toddler was also sick, so that kind of made things a little bit easier, because all the things she wanted to do was rest. And so that gave the whole household a chance to recover, because my older two were on the mend, so they were able to fend for themselves. The freezer foods, my son was cooking a little bit of what he knew how to cook, and my daughter was helping with the cleanup process. But I'll get more to that a little bit later. I agreed to stay in bed and rest as best as I could. But even though my older two were doing what they could as best as they could, my dishes were piling up, laundry was getting overloaded, the food that I did preserve was dwindling, and I was down. So there was nothing much that I could do. I really had to work hard on letting go of this Superwoman mentality, because I needed the rest. I needed to recover. I needed to not do anything. And that is exactly what I did. So the lesson here is really to allow yourself the chance to get better. Don't overwork yourself while you're sick. Do not try to lift anything heavy. Do not try to overdo it with taking care of your family. You are also sick, and you need to rest, and you need to recover, because your health is important as well. Remember, I always say homemaking isn't just about cooking and cleaning. It's about creating and cultivating a house of peace that centers around Christ. So even if you're not sick, you're just maybe feeling burnt out, you still need to rest. Use this time to rest and recover. This is exactly the reason why I have the Anchored Homemaker. Help uplift you and help get you back on track when you're off routine. Did I mention it's free? Use the link that's in the description in your best email, and I'll send it to you. Now, while I'm not thrilled that my family got sick in a weird way, I am happy that it happened. I know it sounds even crazier and cringier to say out loud, but let me explain. Now, I already told you I was on a route to do freezer meals, prepping food for a busy season that we're about to have. Did not know sickness was on the horizon for us, but I am glad. Like, being sick really showed me that I need to prioritize getting my freezer prepped and my pantry stocked with homemade items for moments like these. So now that I've recovered mostly, my goal is to have my breakfast meals prepped for at least 2 weeks. The breakfast wraps, sandwiches, pancakes, all the things. Let me know in the comments, do you have any homemade freezer meals already prepped in your freezer? And if not, do you plan on making any? Another thing that I've realized during this time period, that nearly everyone in this house is lost without me. If I am down, oh my goodness. Of course, hubby pulls his weight and will take care of the kids. But let's face it, mommies and daddies parent differently. He wouldn't care for the kids exactly how I would, and that's okay. That is totally fine. We all, like I said, we parent differently. But I'm the one that typically fixes the food, and he works a lot, so his time is very limited. But during this bout of sickness, I realized I needed to be more intentional with teaching my family the systems that I have put in place for myself so I can be consistent with household tasks, and so that they would know where things went, how to prepare certain things. They need to be in the know of it all, because if I'm down again, I don't want them feeling lost or frantic. I don't want my house stopping and everything is in disarray because mom's not there. They need to know what's going on just as much as I do. So that really just opened my eyes to see I need to start teaching my kids these systems. So when I am sick, the oldest can take care of the younger. So that way everyone's pulling together, joining together, and helping the ship run, because we're gonna be paddling uphill because the engine is down. So I really need to put together some written instructions so when I'm sick again, hopefully no time soon, or if I get really busy, my household will be able to function without me. That is very important. That was the biggest thing that I got from this. Teach others the system so I'm not the only one with the idea of what's going on. So this is something that I can work on over time. It's gonna take me a while to get this situated, and that's okay. That is okay. Not everything has to be done overnight, right? The process is, the goal is to start the process of teaching the members of my household, and I can do this slowly each day. And don't get me wrong, my son knows how to make some things for himself, and he definitely pulled his weight as much as he could while I was down. But this is a prime opportunity to expand his knowledge on how to cook. So think about your household for a second. Do you have backup, or is it just you doing everything? If your kids are older and can help, teach them your system. And if you don't have kids that are of the helping age, talk to your babies and tell them what you're doing. Talk to your toddlers. Of course, they're not going to be able to grasp everything, but you will see in time some of the things that you've been teaching them come to fruition, and it's going to be the cutest moment. Their efforts may not move your needle, but it will surely move your heart. And that sometimes is the fuel that we need to continue going, because homemaking can be hard. In fact, I show you in this video how hard it was for me. So what can you do today that will help your family tomorrow? Maybe you can start labeling your shelves so the people that's in your house can know where to put things, and so that when you're ready to use them, you're not searching for them all over the creation because somebody else put it up and they didn't put it in the right spot. Ask me how I know. So while I work on this, maybe you can work on this with me. What are you gonna work on today to help your family tomorrow? Let me know in the comments. The final thing that I knew I need to focus on was prepping my natural remedies ahead of time for colds, fevers, coughs, all the things. Now, this is not only for helping us when we get sick, but it's also the attempts to prevent us from getting sick again. So we're really going to focus on prevention rather than healing. I think that's really important, because the best medicine is the one that prevents you from getting sick in the first place. Now, my husband, when we were sick, he did get our cough syrup together. He made me honey, the onions, the garlic, and I actually had energy to make up some tea bags, and I have about 14 on hand for when we need it again. But I also am going to focus on creating more for preventative measures, and just because they actually tasted really good. That was very essential to have on hand. I'm glad that I had the energy to make it while I was sick, but it'd be really good to already have it for when I get sick again and I don't have to use the energy to make more tea bags. So it would be nice to take a week, make sure I am prepping my herbal remedies for sickness and my preventative measures. I'm glad that I had my herbal pain pills on hand already that I made a while ago, but I also had ibuprofen because I wanted something to work a little bit quicker, and ibuprofen definitely worked faster than the herbal remedies. I will admit that, but I don't have to worry about any crazy side effects when you're taking herbal remedies and safe measures. So whether it's capsules for my husband and I, or infusions or teas, I need to do some research ahead of time so I know what to do and when, and to have some of these things on hand for when we get sick again, because I don't want to be scrambling like I did last time trying to research a tea that will help us with our fever and coughing and things of that sort while I'm sick. I'm a natural nurturer, and I make sure that my little sicklings feel very loved, feel very comforted, and know that I am here for them when they are sick. And it would just be a little nice to have that level of care in return. My husband does a great job taking care of me when I'm sick, but let's face it, he is busy, and the little details of things he will likely miss. And so, but if I have everything prepped for him and he knows where to go to get it, that should ease the load that he would have to do. So all of this in preparation is to ultimately help my household continue to run, and everyone gets the care that they need and deserve while they are recovering from sickness. Being sick sucks, and I don't wish it on anyone, but let's face it, it happens. And so we need to be prepared for it. And this is one of the best things that we can do as a homemaker, to teach our family to be without us for a certain period of time. Not only will this help your household run smoothly as possible, but it will also teach your kids life skills that they will need to survive on their own. And when they have a family of their own one day, they will know what to do. Yes, your family's gonna feel the effects of you being sick, but you being sick, busy, or absent shouldn't stop the show. It must go on. So I encourage you to pick one meal each week to focus on, to prep. And what you do is maybe you make pancakes for the morning, but you make more pancakes than what you would need, and then you freeze those. Or maybe you make breakfast wraps, and so instead of making breakfast wraps for that day, you make breakfast wraps that will last you a week, and then you wrap those and you freeze those. Maybe take a week to label things in your kitchen. Maybe your family doesn't know where to put the awkwardly shaped container that is separated from the rest because of a certain use that you have. Or maybe they don't know where to put a small appliance, things of that sort. Things that you know where to go, but no one else will know where it goes. Label those things and show them where it is. So that way, when you are preoccupied with something else, like getting better, they know where things go because you showed them. And it's not just in your head type thing, because nobody can read minds. I wish they could though. Whichever direction you choose to go, make sure that you have what you need for when you need it. So there you have it. That is how my household was able to run while I was sick. And if you like this video and it's helped you in some way, then you might want to check out this video because it might help you as well. Go ahead and check it out and then let me know in the comments. See you over there.